Hello, my Teaserking family. Sorry, just doing this. Okay, my apologies. All right, so let's review yesterday. Now, I've been thinking about money lines. People ask me, money line, money line. And I really don't like money lines because I don't think you're getting a fair value for your money. You're laying, what was the Nebraska game? I had a gentleman asked me about, should I play the money line in the Nebraska game? Now, I talked him out of it. I hope he didn't bet it because that's exactly the point. Here, Northwestern beats them, and he would have lost, 500 on his money line. And now, how many bets do you got to make to break even? Now, if you lose, if you take Northwestern and you lay 12 or you lay 6 in a teaser, it's just one bet. Say you're a $50 bettor, so you lost 50, and then you get the next game. So I don't like money lines, and I will not. I've never played a money line in my life. I prefer taking a teaser from 7-1, and the odds on it winning by 1, if it is, I push anyway because ties, a tie and a teaser ties. So I see no value, but I look for 7s to 1s or I look for dogs. Would I have money line Northwestern? No, because I don't think they give you enough value on the dog. So what you have is you're laying, let's say, 500 on Nebraska. Sorry. Apologize. So if you took Northwestern, let's say, so you're laying 500 with Nebraska, right? You're not getting 500 with Northwestern. So if you pick Northwestern to win, you're not getting the same value. I really don't see. Nick played the money line on Utah, Florida, and I don't get it. You're laying 2, tease it to +4. Now I got +4, and I can bet whatever I wanted to bet on the money line. I can bet there, and you're laying odds because it's the money line. So you're laying whatever 200, 300 on Utah to win. But here in a teaser, you can play that with the lock. And getting you to got 2-1 or whatever a 3-team teaser pays, depending on where you bet it at. I don't see any value. I think it's a bad bet. I think it's a crooked bet. I think it's like blackjack went from 7-6 to 6-5 or whatever the hell blackjack is now, even money. You've got to look at the odds. That's why I don't tell you to take DraftKings or these other ones because the odds are simply terrible. MGM's 13-10 on a teaser. Why the hell would you bet anything at MGM? Any teasers, maybe parlay, but their odds are going to be bad. They're cooking the books and they're really fucking everybody over. So I cannot recommend playing any bet at MGM or any other thing at MGM. Anyway. I'm on doing my football video, but I'm with you. Love you. Have a nice day. I'll talk to you soon. Anyway, so think about your bets. Think about your odds. You got to price that out. Now, my friend in Florida who couldn't make a teaser on the Utah State game, you've got to find a place that takes teasers. Either another bookie or do another bookie or just find an online, even though you don't like them. And I don't blame you. I don't like them either. My bookie's always taken teasers. At first, it was even money. This is in the 70s, and I'd kill him. Then he went to 11 to 10 because everybody else went to 11 to 10. But if you went to 13 to 10, I wouldn't bet with him. All right, so don't play money lines. They don't make any sense. You're not getting good value. You're not getting good odds. And I don't get the bet. I mean, that's the point. The point of the teaser is to kind of get you to the line, a good line. If it's a fixed game, you can't win by 7. We're down to 1. Just win the game. And that's my point. Now, let's talk about the games yesterday. Nevada goes down to 8.5. And I started to like them, but again, without enough coach and quarterback, they obviously have problems to only beat New Mexico State 23-12. However, they still got the W. They were good in a teaser, laying 2.5. I mean, at that point, when it started, it was like 12. I said, I can't touch it. But down to 8.5, it was ridiculous. It's like, just lay the 2.5. They're not going to lose to New Mexico State, and they didn't. They didn't blow them out, but they played. They got the W. Nebraska Northwestern, again, talking the guy off of the money line. So I saved my student some money. Again, Northwestern is not a Z team this year. They're an over team, as is Nebraska. So neither team really has a defense. I noticed Northwestern, much more of a motion cut through the zone. So if you play a zone against Northwestern, they're going to score a lot on you because they're running all these crossing routes, which zones you run through the zone. The zone, I pick up a guy in my area, but if he goes through my area, I don't go with him. Well, then he's wide open. I gave Northwestern at the end. They shut him down. Northwestern, this will be a huge win for them. Nebraska, again, okay, Casey Thompson looked okay, threw for a bunch. Still no defense, still no running. And that's what you have. So, again, 31-28, Northwestern gets the W. This is why you don't play the money line with garbage teams like Nebraska. Okay, is Northwestern that bad? No, they're not. They're a good coach team. They had a good quarterback. They had a bad year. That pisses them off. This is my Ohio State example, right? Northwestern was terrible last year. They got pride. They got a good coach. They are not going to go 0-13 again. And there they go. They get the win already, and they're going to be a much better team this year versus, and the same thing with Ohio State. They're going to come off pissed. See, you're looking for a reason for the team to be pissed, and then you're going to get a good game from them, usually after a loss. Well, in this case, after a bad season. AKA Ohio State, AKA Northwestern here. So Northwestern beats them, but they didn't have a good defense. Their offense looked great. So now Northwestern is a live dog unless they play Ohio State, and a pretty, so when they play Purdue and Illinois, tease the dog. Not a great defense, but a very good offense. Nebraska, the quarterback looked okay, threw 3 picks. That's why he didn't start at Texas, and that's why you got to be careful with these portal quarterbacks. Oh, good, we got the guy from but he threw a lot of interceptions there, and now he's starting off throwing a lot of interceptions, costing us a game with 3 picks. Utah State, Connecticut. I have a problem with this game. I think this game was fixed, and I'll tell you why. Mysteriously, at about noon, the line drops. Now, remember, we're doing the show, and I'm reading the lines, and it's 27. Okay, I checked back after the show, 1:00 Eastern time. The line dropped to 24. Logan Bonner played. As far as I know, there was no injury to Utah State. What caused the line to drop 3 points for nothing? That's the only reason I look at the line, is not to go with it, but it's something funny. So when I play a game and my spread goes with me, it goes up ahead. Like Florida Atlantic, Charlotte, the line went from 58, the over to 60. I go, okay, I don't care that the line move with me. I care when it drops sharply against me as if it's fixed. And I believe this Utah State-Connecticut game was fixed. Connecticut jumps out 14-0. Makes no sense. Utah State jumps up 24-14 at half. Okay, they're going to blow them out. Then 2 punts at the 1 yard line for Utah State. They can't really drive. And then they score at the end, and it wins 31-20. So you can win, but you can't win by 27. And the line goes to 24. That smells very phony to me. I don't buy that for a minute. And when it dropped to 24, I knew I was in trouble. And there it is, 31-20. They should have killed Connecticut. They're a very explosive team. Connecticut, they gave them 14 points. They got 2 long runs in the first quarter, and that was it. Connecticut, to me, still a weak team. They just happened to get lucky. They ran the ball more, but they just happened to be on the right side of a fixed game. And, I watch Gold, and I know that's fixed, and I tell you it's fixed. This smelled just like it. It's like, how does a line drop 3 points? And I'm saying, the quarterback's in it. No, he played. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Anyway, be careful with that because it didn't make sense that who's betting Connecticut? They suck. They still suck. It made no sense. Illinois did jump to 13, and they killed Wyoming 38-6, mostly running the ball. This looked more like the Wisconsin team that Bielema coaches. I had under initially 48, goes down to 44, and it landed at 44, so the under and the teaser worked. So that was a under game. Illinois going to run. Wyoming really has no offense, usually a decent defense, but Illinois just spanked them. So what did we learn? Is Illinois that good? Do we take them as a dog against Indiana, which is your first thought? And then how bad's Wyoming? My God, Illinois doesn't have much, 38, and then they had no offense. Charlotte, Florida Atlantic. Again, I had another student say, do I take Florida Atlantic in the money line? And again, I said no. I said I took over, and my over was 57. I went over 51, and I was comfortably over third quarter. Final was 43-13, 56. Now, why did I bet over? 2 good quarterbacks, Reynolds and Perry. Charlotte has a weak defense. They still have a weak defense. And so I knew there'd be a lot of points, and it was, 56. Again, the line was good at 57. So the line wasn't 70, right? So the line fit with the 2 teams. That was my play. So my 2 plays were Utah State laying 21, which lost, and then I had Charlotte over 51, which won. That was my free teaser. That was my teaser yesterday. Not my free teaser, but my teaser yesterday. So you can see Charlotte. Reynolds looked okay. For some reason, he brought in another quarterback, but I didn't see Reynolds injured, and the guy throws a pick 6. I'm like, stop switching quarterbacks, okay? You're not that good to be switching quarterbacks. And this other quarterback obviously sucks, so I don't know what you're doing. The coaches killed themselves. Florida Atlantic, again, seems like a decent team. I don't like their coach, Taggart. He was terrible he was good at South Florida because of Flowers, and then he was terrible at, I think he went to Florida State, and I think he went to Oregon, and he sucked both places. But they got the win. Perry, the quarterback, used to be at Miami, looked really good. So Florida Atlantic's the real deal. Charlotte is still going to be an over team. Reynolds, he didn't kill him. It's just they didn't get the ball away from Florida Atlantic. Again, weak defense. So you can only play dogs if they have good defenses. You can't play an offensive dog. It's very hard to play and win with it for exactly this reason. North Texas, UTEP. UTEP was 1.5. They win 31-13. Over-under was 54. Didn't get there. UTEP didn't do a lot. North Texas looked fairly good. I don't know. I got to do a little bit more reading into the box score because this was a late game. But 31-13 North Texas. Not a big surprise. I laid away from it. I thought about UTEP. I said, I don't trust them. And that's why I didn't play them. You got to trust the team. That's why this week was hard, because the Charlotte game made sense over, and that won. The Utah State, I was betting against Connecticut. And when the line moved, it was obviously fixed. Vanderbilt Hawaii, Vanderbilt went down to 6.5. I think it went up to 9. I don't know. They killed Hawaii 63-10. Again, I didn't know how to play the game because Vandy doesn't have a big offense. They're a Z team. Hawaii was an over team, but that was last year. And that's what I'm saying. I can use last year's stats in the beginning, but now we're adjusting. Hawaii goes to a Z team. Vandy probably goes to a W. This is against Hawaii. So this game doesn't mean anything for Vanderbilt. And really it shows how bad Hawaii is. Give them 5 or 6 weeks with the new coach and the new quarterback, and we'll see what happens. Vandy, we got to see against an SEC team. Let's see them against Missouri or Florida. Now, if they do this against those, then that's a different story. That's what you're waiting for. So a lot of it is who did they play. So we give Charlotte, Florida Atlantic. We give Florida Atlantic credit. Illinois, I'll give a little credit. Let's see what they do against Indy. Utah State, Connecticut, I don't know. Utah State looked kind of weak against the terrible Connecticut team. And then we learned about Northwestern. Now, Northwestern's win on the road at Nebraska. That's meaningful. That is a good win, right? Where Nevada beating New Mexico State's a bad win because New Mexico State stinks. So that's what we learned. That's why you couldn't play it. You didn't know how Vandy and Hawaii were. You couldn't play the game. North Texas, UTEP, about what I thought. UTEP, I wasn't sure on. North Texas, I'm not sure. I learned a little, not a lot. Florida Atlantic looks good. Charlotte, we know Reynolds. Illinois, Wyoming. How good's Illinois? And then how bad's Wyoming? And we'll see that. And then Utah State, I just think they had a bad game, and I think they're better than that. They were a pretty good team, 31-20. The 31, I should have been at least in the 40s and giving up Connecticut 20 points. But after the first quarter, they gave them 6. So they came out like, oh, it's Connecticut. We don't care. And they, just went on with it. So that's what we learned. So now here comes week one's game. Western Kentucky, 13 over Hawaii. Well, what do you make out of that? Western Kentucky played a Division II team, and Western Kentucky beat them not convincingly. But again, they got the new quarterback. See, the new quarterback needs 3-4 weeks, unless he's like a Van Dyke and a Rising. The guy at Miami came right out of the blocks, but it was like week 4, and same with Rising at Utah. It was like week 4, and then they finally figured out to put him in, and he lit it up right away. After watching 3 or 4 weeks, but week 1's a little different. And this is my problem in the pros. I don't know. That's all I'm seeing is Vandy Hawaii's. Like, who are these teams this year? And, what have they got? And that's why you need to see this. Now, this game's real. The pros, these preseason games are not even real. We don't want to get anybody hurt. I'm so sick of that. Dude, this is football. People get hurt. People take shots. People tape up. It's part of the game, but it's football. They like hitting and getting hit. That's what they like. So we've already talked about the line for week 1. I don't really want to go over it again right now. I'll go over it again Thursday night. The first game is 9-2, which I think is Thursday. And then 9-3. I think they're Friday. So there's the Friday games. Oh, no, there's 9-1 games. Let's see, 9-1. I think it's Thursday. So Thursday's Ball State, Tennessee, CMU, Oak State, West Virginia, Pitt, Penn State, Purdue, LTech, Missouri, New Mexico State, Mini. So we'll talk about them on 8:31. See what lines have moved. I noticed the money is going a little bit on Tennessee. Oak State, it's kind of staying. Pitt's getting a little action. Penn State, Purdue, nothing. Purdue might be like Northwestern. I think they're a pretty live home dog here. I don't know how strong Penn State is. Purdue should be fairly explosive, but again, how's their defense? LTech, Missouri should be high scoring. They're both over. LTech switching their offense to an air raid. And then now New Mexico State, Minnesota. Minnesota's 37. Now this is on 9-1. They just played. So on Thursday, New Mexico State played yesterday, 23-12 to Nevada. Now they go to Minnesota after only 5 days, 28, 29, 30, 31st, 1st. 5 days. This is New Mexico State. This isn't like the Buffalo Bills. How are they going to come back? Maybe that's why the line's so high. Now, what did we learn? Nevada 23-12. Minnesota, are they going to kill them? Minnesota doesn't really have that type of team to kill them. They're not a UCLA, a Utah, Miami of Florida, Wake Forest with Hartman. They're not that type of team. So I don't know what you're going to, if they can handle it. But I would think Minnesota will shut them out. I think New Mexico State will be tired, provided, where's the fixed games? And that's really my thought was don't chase the line. So there was like Illinois, I would have said don't chase it, but they did win. Vandy did go from 7 or 6.5 to 9, and Vandy did win. The only one where, and the line was working for Utah State, Connecticut. It went on Connecticut. They did win. So you got to be careful there. All I know is when I have a big bet, I like the line to go with me just so I don't get Utah State. Because if nothing changes and everybody's healthy and all of a sudden the line moves 2 or 3 points, knowing how the line moves, the betting moves the line, right? So if there's a big bet, the line's going to move a point or 2. There must have been a huge bet on Connecticut, moving it from 27 to 24. I mean, there had to be a $10 million bet on them. Who the fuck bets Connecticut, right? Utah State, Connecticut at Utah State. Utah State's an explosive team, should score a lot. Same quarterback from last year, same coach. They score a lot. They're an over team, and yet here Connecticut gets 2 touchdowns in the first quarter running the ball. Like, really? What am I looking at here? So very strange things that happen. As we know, most things are fixed. The stock market's even worse. So don't think, football's fixed, I'll buy stock. No, stock market's totally fixed. Everything's algorithm now. But when I make a big bet, so Ohio State, if I saw Ohio State go to 12, I'd be worried. But I saw Ohio State go to 17 today, so I feel really good. I got it in at 15.5. Ohio State, USC 34, it's still 34. I'm noticing UCLA went down from like 25.5, 26 down to 24. That one, again, I don't understand. UCLA should pound them. We'll see. But USC hasn't moved. But Ohio State's now 17-point favorite. I would think they're going to blow them out. But it doesn't always work. You can't just chase the number. Oh, let me see what moved, and then I'll bet it. You can't do that. You've got to make your pick and make it a sound pick. What do I think? I pick the score first. The first thing I do is look at the game, look at the score, look at the spread. Then I look at what the real Vegas line is and see how bad they are, and that helps me. And that's how I determine what I bet on is I'm looking, now USC, I had 31 over Rice, 34.5. Okay, that's not going to stop me. I think they'll win big. Another reason with the money line is if you just pick the winner, they more like, Illinois, why money line them? They won 38-6. Florida Atlantic, why money line them? They won by 30. Just play them or play them in a teaser. See, I'd have rather played Florida Atlantic -1.5 in a teaser than money line it. Your odds are terrible, and if you lose one, so you lose the Nebraska one, you're fucked. You're You've lost 500 and you're doing money lines, so you're only winning a little bit. You're not getting odds unless you're taking the dog, and then you're not getting the right odds. So please, no money lines. Anybody ask me a money line question, I'm going to say, don't bet it. It's not worth it. There's no value in it. Your odds are terrible. And is it really going to come into play? Okay, the money line on Utah State would have gotten you the win, but at what cost? I think it was like 10,000 to win 100 on Utah State. Yeah, you would have won instead of losing lane, 27, 24. Yes, but, what did you do? So you win 100 to risk 10,000. And the funny part is if you took Connecticut, you had like 1,000. Like, wait a minute, 10,000, 1,000? What am I missing here? So, yeah, that would have been the case for it. Otherwise, North Texas easily wins. Vanderbilt, why would you money line Vanderbilt against Hawaii? Just lay the points. Don't get intimidated by the points. Figure out the score. Figure out what team's better and bet it. The money line, it's the biggest scam I've seen since gold, but it's not. You're going to lose a lot of money lining because, okay, I lay 500 to win 100. It loses. Now I got to win 5 more money lines to break even. If I just tease the bet, I just got to win 1 more game to get even. Also, if I like the dog, then, and it seems like it's mostly the favorites. I'm going to take Ohio State, Notre Dame. I'll money line Ohio State. Just lay. Well, at this point, lay the 9.5. Now you got to lay 11. It's not worth it. Just play your. Who do you think's going to win and pick a score? That's how you do this. You can't money line. My God, especially in the pros. You can't money line anything in the pros because there is no real strong team that you know, they're going to win. They're going to win. They're probably laying 7, tease it to 1, and you pay 110 to win 100, and you're laying 1. Just tease it. Money lines are ridiculous. So we got Illinois, Indiana. Now we got Indiana minus 3.5. Illinois kills Wyoming. Are they that good? Now, here's the key about betting. Illinois blows out Wyoming at home 38-6. Now they go to Indiana. You got to wipe that game out. First of all, they're not at home and they're not playing Wyoming. They're on the road playing Indiana. Are they going to win 38-6 at Indiana like they won at home against Wyoming? No, it's poker. I get pocket kings and I win. In my next hand, I get 9-5. Am I going to win that hand because I won the last hand? Is everything going to be the same? Are the same players in the game playing the same way? That's poker, right? I can tell. No, this guy doesn't bluff. This guy is tight. This guy, when he raises, he's got something. This guy is a bluffer. And then you can go from there. Not a problem. But how's Indiana? We don't know. We know they got a new quarterback. Looks like the kid from Missouri. New offensive and defensive coordinator. That's going to take 5 games to get used to. Practice is practice, but when you're playing the other team at game speed, it's a whole different animal. So, yeah, my first thought is Illinois and 9.5. They looked pretty good yesterday, but again, how bad's Wyoming? Now, when Utah State barely beats Connecticut, now you go, how good is Utah State to barely beat Connecticut? That's a bad sign when you barely beat them. It was like last year, Washington lost to Montana. Then they get Michigan, and Michigan killed them. And then you just knew Washington wasn't a good team. I think they got a new coach this year. Washington, yeah, new coach. They get the coach from Fresno State, so they should be better. DeBoer. But, again, that's what you see. So be very careful. Again, Utah State, we got to see them against the bad team. You'll learn a lot with Illinois on the road in the Big Ten at Indiana. Then we'll really get a good fix. That's why you need a couple of games to digest the team. But, yes, my first blush is to take Illinois and 9.5 in that running attack. What else? We've got North Texas SMU. SMU 10.5 over North Texas. North Texas goes on the road, beats a pretty good UTEP team, 31-13. Now, the fact they only scored 31 on UTEP bothers me. SMU is going to put up a big number. So the question is, over under 68. Do I get there with a North Texas team who, 31-13 against UTEP? I don't know what they're going to do against SMU, but SMU is going to light them up. So does that really help me? Not a lot. Florida Atlantic I got next week against Ohio. Florida Atlantic, lane 7, kills Charlotte, a passing team with no defense, 43-13. Now they go to Ohio. Ohio's a weak team. They're laying 3.5. Now they're a road favorite. Well, it's one thing to play in the heat in Florida. Now you're at Ohio. It could be heat this time of year. It's still warm here. I'm in Michigan. Florida Atlantic 3.5. Over under 49. Both quarterbacks returning. I got Ohio with a weak offense. Now Charlotte has a strong offense. They held them to 13. So this looks like a Florida Atlantic play. But again, now they're on the road. They're not at home. They could defend Reynolds. Can they do? Ohio does not have a strong quarterback, and they have a weak offense. So we'll see. It looks like another Florida Atlantic play, but we'll see. I didn't play. I played the over in the game. So we covered. So Hawaii against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky barely beat one team. Hawaii, we see, gets killed by Vandy. Western Kentucky's laying 13 to Hawaii. They're explosive, but are they explosive yet? Again, new quarterback. And it wasn't even the quarterback I thought, Dogie, who was at Syracuse. He didn't even play. It was another quarterback. Hawaii, again, they didn't show up against Vandy, but Vandy's an SEC team. Will they do better against Western Kentucky, who's got a weaker defense, who's not that strong? That's a hard call. I didn't really learn enough there. Nevada, 5.5 over Texas State. They struggle but beat New Mexico State 23-12. Now they're at home against Texas State. Texas State I have as a W last year. Don't know what that means this year. Again, these are last year's grades, and I'll regrade after next week. Right now, we don't know the changes made, the new coaches, the new coordinators, the new quarterbacks. I can't tell you Texas State's still a W or an over or an A, or maybe they're a Z now. And that's what you learn. Nevada laying 5.5. Fuck, they barely beat New Mexico State by 11. New Mexico State's horrible. So I don't know that they'll beat Texas State by 11 if they couldn't beat New Mexico. Even though the game was at New Mexico, I don't buy that. Now Nevada does play in the mountains, so there is elevation. It's like the Denver Broncos. They gain on the elevation at home. But again, I don't know that I learned. It looks like Nevada's not that strong. But again, it's week 1. And again, how motivated are they against New Mexico State? That's like Utah State. It's Connecticut. We'll kill them. Gives up 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. But then they got pissed off and led it at the half 24-10 or 24-14. So they came back when they needed to. The third quarter, they're terrible possession. The first one starts at their own 1, the second one at their own 6. So Connecticut found a punter. Give that one to Jim Mora, and then so they just couldn't drive 99 yards. Had they had a normal ball at the 20 or 30, I think they'd blow them out. So again, that's something you can't really say. They're going to get the ball at the 1 and the 6. So there goes the third quarter with no points. Nebraska Northwestern, are they on the ballot for next week? I don't think they are. I don't see them. No, I don't see them. No. So all we learned is Northwestern is not a Z team. They're a very good offensive team with Holinsky, the same quarterback. They changed the offense. He did a lot of Michigan play action to the running back, rolling out, and the tight ends would roll with them. And I saw 10 minutes of the game. I saw that play 10 times. And they just were good. And, so you're going to get a good team with Northwest, a better team. Nebraska's the same Nebraska, no defense. The kid will be a good quarterback for him. 3 interceptions. So you can never trust Nebraska to win a game this year. Northwestern obviously is a live dog, so that's what you take away from this. And Vandy, we still don't know. We need to see him in an SEC game, and in Hawaii. We'll see more against the Western Kentucky. Will tell us all we need. If they get shut out again by Western Kentucky, forget Hawaii. Timmy Chang doesn't know how to coach, and the quarterback's weak, or it might take the quarterback 5 weeks, or he might have the wrong quarterback out there. So this is what happens. He puts this quarterback in. He does shit for 3-4 weeks. Then he switches to the guy he should have started the whole time. He lights it up. And you're going, okay, coach, didn't you realize this guy was better? Why did you wait 5 weeks to play him? That's Van Dyke and Rising at Miami and Utah last year. What the fuck? Can't you see these guys are superstars and you don't even play them for 4 games and you lose? Utah lost to BYU. With Rising, they ain't losing that game. And Miami lost to Michigan State and barely beat App State. With Van Dyke, they win both. They blow out both teams. They kill Michigan State with Van Dyke. There's no way they're going to stop them because Michigan State doesn't have a pass defense. So enough said with yesterday. No real surprise. Vandy getting 63s a bit. Nevada, not that strong. Northwestern, not really surprised that they won the game. Again, it's Big Ten, and after a bad season, and Nebraska is not very good. And like I said, Tom Osborne and the boys aren't there. This isn't the 80s or the 90s, so you've got to understand they're a very weak team right now, and you can't go by the name, which is what, especially I'm going to money line 12. No, you can't do that. Utah State, I think they're better than they showed. Again, getting up for Connecticut, getting up for New Mexico State's much more difficult. Now, I'll give you Charlotte, I'm sure was up for Florida Atlantic, and their offense didn't show up. UTEP, North Texas beat them. So that's what you got. So let's go look at the 9-1 games. Ball State, Tennessee Lane now 33.5. Over 67. Ball State I have as an E team, so they don't really have a huge offense. Tennessee, over team, very good quarterback, very strong offensively. I like Tennessee in that game. At home, they should pound them. Central Michigan, Oak State. Oak State minus 20.5, over under 58. Oak State's a very strong team, should have been in the playoff. Spencer Sanders is back. They lose the running back, but they got others. Strong defensively. This is an A team playing an over team. Central has strong running, strong receivers, good quarterback. I look for them to score, but this is Oklahoma State. Now, how up is Oklahoma State going to get for Central Michigan? It's not Texas. It's not Baylor. And you got to play that into it, too. Will they be like Utah State and kind of sleepwalk the first quarter, or are they going to get fired up? Now, if they're scared of Central, they'll be fired up. So I think Central can put up 20 on them. I think you'll get a fairly close game. Over under 50. So I can't really bet this game over with Oklahoma State's defense. Lesson learned, I never play A teams over because when you got a strong defense, you can always shut them down. But I think Central in 26 is probably good. No, I would not money line Oak State. First of all, there's no value in it. You're going to be 10,000 to win 100. And secondly, if you like them, just lay the 14. There's no point. Maybe this is 14.5 is a high number. Well, then don't play the game. You don't have to play the game. West Virginia, Pitt. West Virginia was an even. Pitt was an under team. I think they were an A team. What do I got? Maybe a B team last year. Lane, 7.5, over under 51. I like Pitt in this game because I like Slovis, the quarterback from USC, has come over. I don't think they'll miss anything. Good defense. West Virginia's a little weak this year. New quarterback. Now Pitt's new quarterback is very good. West Virginia's is the guy who got beaten out at SC. Daniels got beaten out at Georgia. So Daniels is not a very good quarterback. And I love how he's a 5-star. Why? Because he played weak competition in high school, makes him a 5-star. That whole star ranking is such bullshit. So if Alabama likes you, you're a 5-star. But if Iowa likes you, you're a 3-star. And if Michigan State likes you, you're a 2-star. That's such bullshit. You can't rank kids in college. Why do you think these baseball players never turn out? Because they're playing high, especially a high school pitcher. Well, he was good in high school. He's playing high school players versus pros. Are you kidding me? I would never draft a high school player. They make it too hard in baseball. Go watch the Pac-10, USC, UCLA, Fresno State, maybe the South, Mississippi State, and, Alabama, Georgia. And watch those teams and, this center fielder's good. This is against college competition. He hits 350 for Kentucky. I'm drafting the guy. He's my center fielder. He's my shortstop. I would always get the shortstop at UCLA, USC, Oregon. What are you making it into a mountain here? It's so ridiculous. Okay, Derek Jeter, he was the exception, but Derek Jeter, I'm sure, was very good. He didn't even go to college. He went right from high school. But I'm sure he looked like a pro. That's the exception. Even Mantle, I think he was from Oklahoma. They put him in the minors he didn't start for the Yankees. Well, you had DiMaggio, but very few guys you can just say are pros. All right, one in 1,000 in high school. Anyway, so again, Daniels being a 5-star doesn't make anything. I'm not betting them because of that. I kind of like Pitt here, only laying 1.5 to win at home. I think that's the way to go. Penn State, Purdue. Penn State minus 3.5. I have Penn State minus 7 initially. I don't know. Quarterbacks are back. Penn State's an under. Purdue's a B team, so they got a good defense. Over under 54. Normally, Purdue-Penn State would be an over game. Penn State would score, and Purdue scores. They got a good coach in Braum, turning quarterback. I don't know. I kind of am leaning towards the home dog. Give me Purdue in 9.5. I don't see how you take Penn State in this game. I certainly don't see how you money line the freaking game. Sorry, but I'm just. It's a bad taste in my mouth. It's like somebody saying I don't like gold because it doesn't go up, and I try to say it's price fixed. That's why it doesn't go up, and they broke COMEX. Also, there was a company called Palander or something who bought 50 million ounces of gold and silver physical last week. So gold's a bad investment. It's terrible. Never goes up. Yeah. They bought 50 million ounces because they know it's about to go hit the roof. So that's the same thing as money line. Don't play money line. There's no value in it. You're only going to lose. If you win 100. How much are you betting on it? 20,000 to win 200? I mean, come on. Just play the game. I mean, you're not smart enough. I'm going to steal the quote from Margin Call, where there's a rocket scientist, and they're meeting the guy, and he goes, "Okay, nobody lie. Nobody's smart enough to beat the CEO, and including the rocket scientist. Nobody out here is smart enough to know the score of the game, saying, I'm going to take the money line. I'm not going to take the line." I guess my only comeback for that is if you needed the money line with Nebraska because you were scared to lay the 12, tease Northwestern and take Northwestern in 18 because you're scared of the 12 means you like Northwestern in the 12. If you logically think about it, if I don't want to lay the 12, I should take the 12. And there you go. So anyway, now Florida Atlantic, yeah, you wanted the money line that. I talked you into the over. But again, you didn't just tease it down to 1.5. What's the difference? And it's a lot easier on the juice. And not like we can't find multiple games to tease on the Teaserking. I only got 50. Anyway, Purdue, Penn State, we'll see. Purdue, I think, will be a little bit, we'll finally get to that level. But at this point, I like, I like the dog superficially, but week one, I'm not going to play this game, but this should be an over and take Purdue. None of these games, I'm not saying I'm betting them or not. I'm just giving you picks. LTech, Missouri. LTech's going to a wide open offense. Both teams are over from last year. Missouri's laying 19. LTech's got the quarterback from TCU, and they got a new coach, I think, from Texas Tech, and it's an over. So they're going to open it up and go. Now, Hawaii was supposed to do that yesterday, but they forgot to play. They only got 10 points, probably because they played an SEC team. Missouri, weak defense, over under, I think, is 59, which is a joke. They have their quarterback back. LTech has the TCU quarterback. Minus 19. Until we see LTech, I can't take LTech, but I think the game goes over. You've got two offensive over teams with weak defenses and strong offenses. So this should be very explosive. In the last game, New Mexico State and Minnesota, Minnie Lane 37. New coach for New Mexico State. They scored 12 points yesterday, maybe a little bit better on defense, but they played a team with no offense, Nevada. Returning quarterback for Minnesota. They're an under team. They don't score a lot. And a new quarterback from New Mexico State where they got 12 points against Nevada. So this game should be a shutout for Minnesota. The question is, are they going to cover 37? And is the game going to go 56? I don't see how the game goes over 56. Minnesota gets up 40-0. They're going to lay down, right? That's enough. They're not going to score. They got to score 60 by themselves. So they played Nevada with no offense. They get 12 points. So New Mexico State's not helping you here. And Minnesota's got a strong defense. So this game should be like 38-0, roughly. If you play it, you can maybe play Minnesota. I don't trust Minnesota 31 because they're an under team. You cannot play an under team to lay 31 points. The Texas-Louisiana Monroe game is different. So in this game, Minnesota is 37 over New Mexico State. In that game, Texas is 38.5 over UL Monroe. Both are playing as Z teams. New Mexico State and Louisiana are Z team. The difference is Texas scores a bunch. Now they do have a new quarterback, but they score a bunch. Louisiana Monroe is a Z. They don't score and they have a terrible defense. I could see Texas covering before I could see Minnesota covering. If you don't score a lot, they're going to run the ball and they're going to, get comfortable and run the clock and win 38-0. Texas, I could see putting up a 60, and you might need it in case Louisiana Monroe scores 10 or 14. The subs come in the fourth quarter. The other team gets a few touchdowns. They put up 14, and then there goes, that gets you the over, but that screws your line because you're laying 38 is the coach wants to win. Some of the coach, Urban Meyer knew the number. He'd score that late touchdown. The other Tressel knew the number. These Ohio State coaches know the number. They want to make money for their guys. So they know what the number is, and they know, oh, wait, we need a late touchdown to cover. They know that. Some teams, Alabama doesn't care about that. Saban will never score a late touchdown for you. If they're up 28-0, the line's 31, you're going to lose. He doesn't cover it. Georgia just played the unders in those games. But anyway, so notably, Ohio State is now 17 or 17.5, up from initially 14, 15.5, 17. That's my free play, Ohio State with USC sitting at 34. Again, I got a strong over USC against the Z team Rice. No offense, terrible defense. USC should light them up. And Ohio State, Notre Dame. Ohio State is going to be like Northwestern. Pissed off, had a bad year last year. Look for them to come out on fire. The game's at home. Notre Dame, new coach. We don't know how good. He's not Brian Kelly, that's for sure. and a new quarterback who's not throwing the ball, which if he was any good, he would have played last year, and he wasn't. So Notre Dame, I don't care. This is your first game at quarterback, and you're at Ohio State, who's pissed off because their defense didn't look very good. They didn't win the Big Ten. They lost to Michigan. Oh, my God. Look out for Ohio State this year. They are on fire. And that's what you got to look for. That's the reason you bet the game, and you never money line it. If you're afraid to take 17 or tease it down to 11, then you need to take Notre Dame in the game or not play it. You shouldn't be afraid. Stop being afraid of the spread. You got to make your own spread. You got to look at the game. I think Ohio State's going to kill them because they're pissed, just like Northwestern. They're pissed from having a bad year. What's the spread? My spread was Nebraska -7. That was Teaserking spread. Spread comes out 12. Now, again, I had to wait and see what Northwestern was going to do, but I had never, maybe at 7 I like Nebraska, but at 12 I never liked Nebraska. And that's the difference. So you got to look at, so you're looking for a reason, and the reason, like USC, why do I like USC Ohio State so much? Ohio State had a bad year. They didn't beat Michigan. They're pissed off. USC, new coach, new quarterback, who's the same quarterback the coach had at a offensive school, Oklahoma, now goes to USC. He's got to prove himself. This ain't this is not the Big 12. This is the Pac-10. And he's got UCLA and Utah. He ain't going to beat either of them. He's got to look impressive. Look at me. This is, Oklahoma West. We beat a crappy Rice team 72-0. He's got to, if he beats Rice 20, if he pulls a Utah and beats them 31-20, I'll boo him out of the state. He's got to put up a big number. He'll put up a Vanderbilt 63-10 number. That's what he has to do because he's got UCLA and Utah to worry about. This is a Rice team at home. Look at us, and then let the media talk them up. So that's why both these teams have something to prove. USC's got a pretty weak defense, but Rice won't bother it. Now, if they were playing maybe Louisiana Tech, I probably wouldn't be laying so many points, but against Rice, I will. So you're looking for those type of emotions in the thing. You're looking for teams off a loss. So Nebraska, they'll play an intense game next. Well, they don't play the first to the next, or unless they might play like South Dakota State, because I only put the meaningful games on here that are against Division I teams. Like yesterday, Western Kentucky played like Bethune-Cookman. I don't watch that. I don't note it. I do notice their lines on them. But they come in late. Like there'll be a line, Miami plays, Fort Knox, and there's no line now, but there'll be a line a day before the game. Miami be laying 52 points. I don't get into that because I don't know the teams. How good's Fort Knox? And so you don't know, so you can't. I want to know both teams. Then I make my bet. That's why pros are so difficult. Out of all these teams, I probably know Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and Green Bay. I mean, the Rams, maybe Buffalo. That's about it. Miami sucks. The rest of them are not good. So it's very difficult that way. But in this situation, you're definitely betting. You want to know the teams you're betting. It's very important to know that. And when you're playing a Division II team, it's very difficult to, there's upsets all the time. North Dakota State beat Iowa or Minnesota. Now we know North Dakota State, they win their little title every year, but there's too many guys in North Dakota State in the pros. I mean, it's like drafting high school players. I read an article on Trey Lance yesterday saying he sucks. You wasted a number 3 pick in the draft for Trey Lance. You even traded up for Trey Lance. What the hell are you doing? You could have had Zappy this year, or you could have gotten one of the studs next year, the Risings or Van Dykes or McCall, and have a real quarterback that is a good quarterback, because you're watching. You're sitting on Rising. He's in the Pac-10 and Thompson Robinson. You're Frisco. You're right there. You're watching these guys. You think Trey Lance? What are you doing, man? So that's why these GMs and the pros are just missing the boat. So what else do we got? Good game, Utah, Florida, laying 2.5. Everybody's talking about this Florida quarterback, Richardson. I look him up. He did nothing. I don't get it. He was like 4-10 and two touchdowns and 3 picks. Why am I all excited about this guy? I don't see it. I get excited about the numbers. Rising, 35 touchdowns and 4 picks. I like the guy. That's what you're looking for. That's why I don't. You can't get excited about these guys. Army, Coastal Carolina, I get excited about McCall, like 35 touchdowns and 3 picks. And Army, you can't look at the quarterback because they run the ball too much and it's all running, but they have gotten a little more offensive in their game. I've also noticed that line dropped to 2.5, Coastal Carolina. Normally I'd take the Army as a dog. Now I looked last year, they beat Western Kentucky 38-35 and played another passing team. Slips my mind. I think it was Wake Forest. Wake Forest put up a 70 on them. That's with Hartman, though, and we all know how good Hartman is. And I think I had the game over, but it was like 70-50 or something. So it was pretty ugly for Army against a good quarterback. I cannot play Army in this game I can play him like Wisconsin because they're a running team, and Michigan was more of a running team, but not against a stud like McCall. I am not jumping on Army here. Now, can I jump on Coastal Carolina? No, because I can't bet against Army. This is a frozen game. No money line, no teaser. I look at the over-under 54. I go, 54, is Army going to get to Coastal Carolina? Probably puts up in the 30s. What's Army going to do? Now, Army is very well coached. They run the ball down your throat. They go for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, all game. They know how to score, and they have a little bit more offense. So possibly over in the game because you're betting McCall to light up 30 points. And I go back to the West Kentucky 38-35 game. But Army had a good quarterback who had a bunch of 70-yard runs last year, Anderson. He's gone, so that's the question. This other kid didn't do much when he was quarterback, so we'll see. But, some games you just can't play. You're looking for the right matchup. Alabama down to 39 from the 40. I guess they listened to me. Again, that's now Utah State 31-20 against Connecticut is making me look at Alabama a little closer. Maybe that had a bearing in it. Was Utah State looking ahead to Alabama going, Connecticut sucks. They're a terrible team. We're going to kill them. We got Alabama next week. Now, that does play a role in it. They're not going to be up for Connecticut, and they're getting up for Alabama, or at least they're thinking Alabama. And that's the other thing you have to be leery of. If USC was playing UCLA the following week, we wouldn't be on them against Rice. Ohio State, if they played Michigan next week, we wouldn't be all excited about them over Notre Dame. So you must be careful you got to be prudent on who they're playing next. Georgia, Oregon, week 1, I'm not worried about either team. I think that line's a little high because Georgia's a defensive team. They're still going to be a defensive team. Hard to lay, what's it up to like 18? Hard to lay 12 against Oregon, but I think Oregon's not going to be good. A new coach, Bo Nix. I didn't mind Bo Nix at Auburn, but I don't think I think he knows Georgia too well. We'll probably get stomach flu and not play. Oklahoma, UTEP. Now here's UTEP laying an egg to North Texas, 31-13. Now here comes Oklahoma. 31.5 against UTEP at home. Who do you got? You got the UCF quarterback and apparently the UCF offensive coordinator. So they're going to run the UCF offense, maybe. They're going to try to. Will they be able? Oklahoma's got a whole bunch of different linemen and receivers and running backs, and how many of those guys transferred out to go to USC? They're not staying at Oklahoma because they came for that system. So the receivers are probably at USC also. So this will be interesting to see. Yes, with whatchamacallit, last year I could have seen taking Oklahoma late 31 to UTEP, but not now. I mean, it's a hard one. We have to see what Oklahoma looks like. But Gabriel from UCF's a good quarterback. Put up a lot of good numbers, not too many interceptions. So he's a good quarterback. But we'll have to see the system and we'll have to see the defense. UTEP, I don't think, since North Texas, I believe, is in their division or in their conference, I don't think they were looking ahead to Oklahoma like Utah State was probably looking ahead to Alabama. Hard to say. I don't know if I'd look ahead to Alabama. I'd just, pee my pants and go, well, there's a loss. So we'll see. Cincinnati, Arkansas should be a really good game. Cincinnati with the new quarterback, Ben Bryant from Eastern Michigan, is okay. He's not Ritter. They didn't have much of an offense last year. Arkansas is very strong. They're a top 5 team, I think. UCLA, Bowling Green. I'll look for UCLA. Should be very explosive this year, especially with Chip Kelly. I like their quarterback. Bowling Green, we'll have to wait and see. I have them as a W team last year. Returning quarterback. What's my note? I can't. Average. So I don't think Bowling Green is going to bother them too much. North Carolina State, East Carolina. I kind of like NC State there. They're a real strong A team. Good defense, good quarterback. East Carolina, they're trying to switch to Army. They're trying to be more of a running team, not a passing team. They're trying to maybe get a little more balance. NC State laying only 10.5, I find is kind of a low spread. I think you're giving East Carolina. They were an E team last year. They were an A team is a different story, but an E team means they score about 25, give up 25. NC State, probably they won't get 10 points on NC State. It'll probably be like 31-10 would be my guess in this game because NC State, very good defensive. If East Carolina goes to the run, they're going to run the ball, making it a low-scoring game. So I think I liked under 55.5 and then NC State. Michigan 27.5 against Colorado State. Michigan, they always play these teams at home. They always kill. They try to get the momentum. Good quarterback back. The running back, the one guy went to the pros, but they had 2 good running backs. The other guy's there. Their defense, now they lost Hutchinson and the other guy who they got all the sacks. Was it really them or was it the system? Because they had a Baltimore Raven defensive coordinator. He went back to Baltimore because they sucked. So we'll see the new coordinator, but it's all Harbaugh. He's the offensive and defensive coordinator, I'm sure. Colorado State is going to an air raid. They got a new coach, so how bad are they going to be? Michigan eats up these air raid type of teams because they'll put pressure on the quarterback. I look for Michigan to win pretty big in this game because there's nature at home to win big. North Carolina, App State. North Carolina struggled with Newmont State or whoever the Division II team they played. I think they ended up winning by 20, but they were struggling a little bit. They're laying 1.5. App State's a very strong team, and they're both in North Carolina. App State's in North Carolina, so it's one of these rivalry games for App State more than it is. North Carolina's rival's Duke. That's Michigan, Ohio State. It's North Carolina, Duke, not App State, not North Carolina State, not Wake Forest. Those are all North Carolina schools. App State has everything to gain. They're sky high to beat North Carolina, and they're a very good A team, where North Carolina is really an O team. They don't have a strong defense. I look for App State to easily pull the upset here. Over under 55.5. Probably goes over because North Carolina is an over team. Hey, Don. Any baseball locks you have today? Let me look at it in a minute. I should have listened to you and not picked New Mexico State plus. Well, Don, all I can say is ask my opinion. Now, the other guy, right? He wanted Nebraska in the money line. I hope I talked him out of that. Yeah, you got to give me some credit, but yeah, I know what I'm doing. So, keep an open mind. When you ask for my opinion, keep an open mind. And if I'm telling you, then just don't play it. Again, I don't know what made New Mexico State attractive. They're a Z team. So if I'm telling you they're a Z team, means they have very little offense and no defense, and you don't want to play them. We do Art of War. That's how I learned how to bet football, gold, anything. Art of War says bet on strength, bet against weakness. I never play a Z team because unless they play another Z team, they're very weak. So I don't want anything to do with a weak team. I look to play against the weak teams. Like I was saying, Texas, Louisiana, Monroe. I would take Texas there. I would never take Louisiana, Monroe. But I don't know that I like Texas all that much. But that's what I look for. So, yeah. If you sign up, I know you asked about it. If you sign up, so talk to me first. Send me an email, www.teaserking.com. We can talk about price and we can talk. I know you asked about the month. We can talk about price there. But then you can ask me this kind of stuff ahead of time. Who do you like in this game? And I can tell you a lot more easier than I can do that. I can go through the games like I'm doing, but I'm not picking all these games. I'm just going through the games with my thoughts. So let me quickly look for baseball for you. Where's my phone? I'll do it on the phone. This computer really sucks sometimes. My internet went out. I apologize to everybody yesterday. I didn't end it. The internet went out and it took like 2 hours to come back on. I noticed sometimes on Saturdays I'll lose the internet. It just clicks off. I call Spectrum and they send a ding, and within an hour or so it comes back on, but I can't control it. All right, Major League Baseball. Now, you got to understand, I am in football mode right now, Don. So I am not, not that I'm not interested in baseball, but I'm not. Let's see. Okay, Miami, here you go. Miami and the Dodgers starts at 12. You got 20 minutes. I like that game under. Cabrera, 1.41 ERA against Urias, 2.36 ERA, but I don't know if y'all have time. Then the 1:30 games. Boston, Tampa, Cincy, Washington, Philly, Pitt. Let's see. Here you go. Take Toronto. That's not a lock, but yeah, go under because look at the ERAs. They're both under 2. Take Toronto over California Angels. Ross Stripling 6-3 with a 2.84 against Tucker Davidson's 2-4 with a 6.23. Bet Toronto. That'll be your good play for 130. The Mets. There you go. If you want to parlay, take the Mets. Max Scherzer going 9-3 with a 2.33 against Marquez, 6-10 with a 5.22, and Colorado at New York's a whole different animal. So there you go. So take a Toronto Met. You can parlay it or whatever. Let's see what else. Dylan Cease going for the White Sox. He's a good one to bet on. Anybody else? Verlander going today? No. Baltimore use. Yeah, Verlander's gone. There you go. Another lock. Take Verlander. 16-3 with a 1.87 ERA. Jesus Christ, it's a field day. So I got 3 locks for you. Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. I don't know. Is he any good? 5-2 with a 2.18 against Martinez for Oakland. I think the Yankees win there. All right, so let me write this down. So we've got Miami under. We've got Toronto lock. We've got the New York Mets lock. We got Houston lock. And we got the Yankees very strong. So there you go. Lock. 3 locks for you, Don. Glad you asked. Let's go 3 locks. The Miami under is a strong play in the Yankees. I don't know Clark Schmidt, but he's 5-2 with the 2.18, and Oakland sucks. So there you go. 3 locks and 2 regular plays, and we got Verlander. What a happy day. You got that, Don? Everybody else? So real quick, baseball. Miami under, very strong. Locking Toronto, locking the Mets, locking Houston, and playing the Yankees. The Miami game's at 12:10 or whatever, that Peacock noon game. The rest are like 1:30, so we have time on those. So play those. Now the difference between my football lock and the Ohio State game versus the New York Mets. Yeah, that would be a great one. They're all locks. You've got Scherzer, Verlander, and a good pitcher for Toronto. It's like ace day, and you got Dylan Sheets going for the White Sox, but they're playing a pretty good pitcher. And the Yankees I don't know how good the pitcher is. I've never heard of him, but he's got a good ERA, and he's like 6-2. And the Yankees have been pissed, and I think they got some players back. So that's a side bet. I think it's tonight. So if you do good on that, but yeah, get your New Mexico State money back. These are much better bets than New Mexico State. You're betting a team you don't know that's not very good. And here you got, if you lose with Scherzer and Verlander, I don't know what to tell you. But that goes into my theory. We're betting strength against weakness. And not only are they strong, but they're playing weak pitchers. Verlander's got a guy who's got a 5 ERA, and Scherzer's got a Colorado guy who's got like a 5, and they're not in Colorado, they're in New York. Those are very strong locks. I'm glad I thought of it, Don. Good questions. All right, so we will do, again, the locks. Toronto, the Mets, and Houston, Verlander, Scherzer going, Jesus Christ. Strong play Yankees, strong play Miami under at noon. So you might miss the Miami, but that's okay. So where was I? Michigan should blow out North Carolina. Maryland, Buffalo. We don't know enough about Buffalo. Maryland we know is over with Tagliavuo's brother, who's only good against weak teams. He played Iowa, had 5 interceptions in the first half. That's why I don't like Tagliavua. That's why I don't like Lawrence, because in the college games, in the bigger games, he didn't show up. But why do I like Burrow? Because in the big games, he showed up. He lit up Alabama. He lit up Georgia. He lit up, Clemson. It's the competition you play. That's why I like it. Utah, he lit up Ohio State. Van Dyke at Miami lit up Florida State. That's why I like the guys. It's against the talent. That's why I'm not all excited about Nevada, because against a weak New Mexico State team, he doesn't show up. Florida Atlantic, Charlotte's not that bad. I had the over, but again, because if you don't have a defense, you cannot bet a team, and you should never play for these money line guys who need lessons from me. You can only play a money line with a defensive team. You can money line Georgia. You can money line maybe Alabama. God knows you'll be laying 30,000 to win 100. If you money lined Alabama, I don't even know what the money line would be on it, but I don't know why you would do it. Hi, Derek. How about Scott Frost? How does this guy keep a job? Because he was the Nebraska quarterback, and I think they won the title. You score a touchdown, then you onside kick. What the heck are you thinking? Just can't understand these coaches. Well, Derek, the key is you don't bet on those coaches. So the rule I'm playing is we bet strength and we bet against weakness. So what do? I find strength and I find weakness, and I hammer against it. AKA Ohio State, Notre Dame. Ohio State, very strong. Notre Dame is going to be weak this year until proven otherwise. They don't have a quarterback, and they have a coach that I've never heard of. Are the Blue Jays or Houston you like the best? I got to go with Verlander the best, and then I got to go with the Mets with Scherzer. So Houston 1, Mets 2, Blue Jays 3. That would be my order. So if you're looking for a two-teamer, it's Houston and the Mets. Scherzer, Verlander, you can't find better pitchers. McCullough, Tampa Bay is very good. He had a few game losing streak, but now he's back. Contreras on Miami, I don't know. He pitches good and then he doesn't. And he's too young, and the season's too long, so you don't know what you're getting. But I know Houston needs the game, and the Mets need the game, so look for them to play very good. Last time, I got to make a comment on the stupid pitch count. Excuse me for going sidebar, but I do that a lot. Verlander's got no hitter going into the 7th inning, and he's at 90-some pitches, and they pull him. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? I have Mets Houston parlay. Good man, Don. That'll get your money back from New Mexico State. So Verlander's got no hitter going. He's only pitched 90 pitches. What the fuck are you taking him out of the game for? As a former baseball player, I know when I see Verlander on the mound, I'm going to walk up to the plate and bunt. I can't hit this guy. No fucking way. Mentally, you killed me. What happens? You pull Verlander and I just smile. I can hit this guy. I can't hit Verlander, but I can hit this guy. It's so mental. It's all mental. And I would never take Verlander out, especially in a no-hitter, but just even, fuck the pitch count. The pitch count's meaningless. Who cares about the pitch count? This is what I hate about analytics. You're pitch counting. Well, after 100, the third time through the lineup, the guy, gives up a hit. Well, he's probably a little more tired, but does he win the game 6-0 with 3 hits? So who cares about the third time through the lineup or 100 pitches? You've got to know, and every pitcher's different. You can't say Verlander's the same as Scherzer, is the same as Dylan Cease, is the same as Joe Blow on the Tigers. You've got to, if they're on a groove and they're going, keep pitch, because they're not going to pitch for 5 more days, right? You're so afraid, they might get hurt. They're professional athletes. They're not going to get hurt because they pitch 120 pitches versus 100. It doesn't work like that. Either you've got a good arm and you're going, and if you're going well, leave them in. Don't touch them. Don't fuck with them because the other team can't hit them. So what are you doing? You're trying to win. You're going to win with Verlander. You bring in the guy from the bullpen. You don't know if you're going to win. I mean, that's a whole different story. Anyway. It's close to the Miami game, so bet Miami under 2 low ERA pitchers, but it's not a lock, but it's just down at 12. The others are like 130. Again, Toronto, the Mets, Houston are locks, and the Yankees tonight, they got a pitcher I've never heard of, but he's 6-2 with a 2 ERA going against a weak pitcher on the other team who I can't remember, but I'm in a football mood, but my analytics work the same. It's strength versus weakness. That's the theory. That's why we buy gold. Dollar's weak, gold's strong. That's why I do everything. That's why I'm not playing stocks. Stocks are weak. Economy's weak, going down. Where were we? Let's go down. Kentucky, Miami of Ohio. Kentucky is a B team. They're a very good team. They're better than you think. Against Miami of Ohio, who's got a good quarterback, Blaine Gabbert's brother, who's apparently decent. They're laying 17. Both quarterbacks returning. This is a tough game. Kentucky should be strong for the game. At home, they want to get the win. Miami of Ohio might give them a game. Very hard game to pick. If you need it, I guess I would take Kentucky laying the 11 because they're really strong. They're much better. They're better than Tennessee, who's very strong this year also. But they know they're going to lose to Georgia, and they don't know about Tennessee. I don't know their crossover games. They got Alabama or LSU. And Miami of Ohio, again, is a MAC team. Just like I was telling you, Vanderbilt, Hawaii. even though the spread was 6, even though Vanderbilt's terrible, they're an SEC team. They're not going to lose to Hawaii, especially with a new coach and a new quarterback. They need timing. They need 4 or 5 games. Then they might start lighting it up. So keep an eye on that. But right now, Vanderbilt, I'm sure, blitzed, but they're SEC. This is like we can win a game. They're not going to fuck it up. So 63-10 later, Vandy got it. I thought Vandy would win, but it's hard to bet a Z team. Old Mississippi State against Memphis. Both quarterback are returning. Over under is 56.5. I like the game over because Mississippi State's Mike Leach. He's Texas Tech. He's Washington State. He throws the ball 80 times a game. If he's not going to rest his defense. And Memphis is a very strong passing team always. As far as I know, the same coach. It's a revenge game for Mississippi State, if that means anything. How good they are, I don't know, but they're not going to run the clock. They're not going to run the ball. So this will be a high-scoring game just from the nature of throwing. So Mississippi State, Memphis, go over 50. See, now here, the 56.5, you tease down to 50. That's 30-24, and you got the W. And this is definitely a higher scoring game than that. So that's a pretty good over. Alabama, Utah State, we've talked about. Again, Utah State maybe was looking ahead to Alabama. I don't know. After what they did against freaking Connecticut, I still have a hard time buying Alabama laying 40 to a decent Utah State. This is an explosive team. They're going to put pressure on them. So Utah State needs to run the ball and throw quick passes over the middle to the tight ends and the receivers or the backs. The backs out of the backfield have no chance. Those little swing passes are not going to work against Alabama. You need these crossing. You need the plays that Northwestern was doing. The quarterback rolls out. All the receivers roll with them, so they're all rolling through the zone. That probably will work against Alabama. Watch the Georgia game for plays that worked from the championship game where Georgia kicked their ass. Boise, I've seen 2.5s and 3.5s. I like Oregon State, Boise State. I like Oregon State getting 3.5. Boise's not as strong. They're more of an under team, but they do have their quarterback back. Oregon State, we love Oregon State. Good quarterback. Baylor, the running back, went to Green Bay, so they need a new running back. But I do like their quarterback, and they're at home. It's a big win if they can beat them. Again, it's a tough call. Normally, this is a tease the dog game. Both teams are pretty even, but I think Oregon State's a little bit better than Boise. They're slipping. A new coach again. They do have a strong defense, but Oregon State can light them up. Over under looks like 58. I can't go. Boise's got a good defense, so I can't really go over 58, even though Oregon State's a high-scoring team. That's a tough one. I probably would just watch it. Kent State, Washington, we've talked about. I would not be surprised if Kent State gets the W with this. Well, they have an explosive offense and a terrible defense. I would not be surprised if Washington finds an offense. Over under is 60, which is kind of high for Washington. But Kent State will put up in the 20s. If you got 27, you got 47. So the question is, does Washington get 50? And I don't see how Washington gets 50, even though Kent State's got a weak defense. Let's see. The last two are LSU 3 and 51 against Florida State. I think LSU is going to be very strong with Brian Kelly. You know they got the athletes. They just need the coach and the quarterback healthy. They got the best receiver in college football, Boucher. I'm praying he goes to Cincinnati with Chase and Burrow, and that'll be it. Cincinnati will win the Super Bowl the next 5 years. They can get Boucher. But he's the best receiver. In Florida State, they beat, Division II power Liberty or whatever, some crap team. Again, ignore those Division II results. Okay, they won 45-7. Ignore it. They're playing Division II. It doesn't matter. Their quarterback looked okay. doesn't mean anything. Now, if Florida State beats LSU, that's a different story, but they haven't. So I like LSU there, and then Clemson, Georgia Tech. Clemson laying 21, over under a 49. I don't like Clemson's quarterback. I don't trust him. Georgia Tech, this is going to be a shutout. Clemson probably wins 28-0, 31-0. They're going to run the ball, and Georgia Tech will be lucky to get past midfield. So this is definitely to avoid Georgia Tech. Probably go under with the game. 49 goes to 55. I don't see how that game gets close to 55 at all. So, so these are all my thoughts. These are not my picks. These are just, if you're looking for, you like a game, did I like the game? And then go from there. Again, take strength versus weakness. We'll get more into this. Now, watch the stupid line changes like the Utah State game. Maybe the word got out. They're looking at Alabama. I don't know. It's a very hard thing that all this money went on Connecticut. And then they happen to score their first 2 touchdowns and go up 14-0. Like I thought I was looking at the score the wrong way. So keep your eye on that. The line did move right for Illinois. It moved wrong for Nebraska. It moved wrong for New Mexico State. So it's not, ignore the line. Pick your, like when I see a game, if USC 34 over Rice goes to 32, I don't care. I'll bet more USC. I'm not intimidated by the line moving. If I like the line at 34 and it goes down to 30, I like it even more, and I'll bet it again. But it's no guarantee. I remember Fresno State was playing San Jose State years ago. I'm in Vegas playing poker till 6 a.m. I go to bed. Fresno State's laying 7 to San Diego State. I wake up, the spread's 11. I have Fresno State and teasers laying 1 on the card, straight bet, teaser bets. I'm all excited going, wow, this is great. They're laying 11. San Jose wins the game by like 15 points. Doesn't mean anything. I'm the only sharp I know. And anybody else is a sharp. If they're doing it based on statistics, it doesn't work. That's not how you do it. But I'm the sharp, and I know bullshit money and okay, the Connecticut money, you got to be nuts to bet Connecticut yesterday. Did it win? Yes, but it's a terrible. So the money went on New Mexico State. Was that a good play? No. The one that made me almost bet was the Vanderbilt one. Went down from 9 to 6.5. Now I've got the game even. Same thing with Nevada from New Mexico State. It went down to 8.5, 7. I'm like, oh shit, I'll take Nevada. They're going to win the game. And so if the line moves to benefit you, then take the line. Do not get caught into, the sharps must know something. I am teaching you everything you need to know how to bet football, gold, poker, anything else through my lessons and through my learning. And I am very conscious to learn things. And they're very successful, as you can see from my football picking, right? I've learned this since 1970. I've been doing this, and I figured it out. And basically, I'm the sharp. I'm telling you what to look for and why. Never play a money line, and don't play the Z teams. You're looking to bet against Z teams, and you're looking, if 2 overs play like Memphis, Mississippi State, that's your trigger. Go over. And the line plays a big thing. If that over, it's only 56.5. If that over was 70, I would say, well, forget it. 56.5 from Memphis, Mississippi State. Fuck, that's an over all day. SMU North Texas. Now, see, look at the difference. SMU North Texas is 68. Mississippi State Memphis is 50. It's 12-point difference. You got the same team. SMU is Mississippi State, explosive offense, no defense. North Texas, supposedly an explosive, but they're 31-13. They showed signs of a defense. They only put up 31 on UTEP, who's an even team. So is it going to get there? That's a bet. That's a far greater risk taking the SMU over 62 with a North Texas team that's not an over versus Memphis, Mississippi State. Both teams are over. Both quarterbacks returning. So as far as I can see, it's not like it's a brand new, like Notre Dame. It's the kid's never played before. Welcome to Ohio Stadium, new kid. Like, good luck with that one. Going to Ohio State and your first game. Wait, we're supposed to play Rice the first game. So that's the difference. So it's a huge difference. But I don't have that in the Memphis game. They're both returning quarterbacks. Anyway, pros. I'll take some notes after looking at this weekend's games. Again, you have the week of rest. I don't even understand it. Why would you put a week of rest in? They're not playing their players anyway, so the third stringers can rest. It's absolutely ludicrous. The pros are just losing their minds, and they're such bad teams. They don't know how to draft. It's just pathetic what I see. Dallas should be starting Greer, and Tampa will start Trask next year or when Brady leaves. Makes sense. Arizona should be starting McSorley. Minnesota, maybe they go to Kellen Mond, but I don't know. Washington, you can't start Wentz. You can't start Howell. Maybe Henneke. Jacksonville needs a quarterback. Maybe Beathard's the best of those three losers. Philly, the Lions, oh my God. Baltimore should be starting Huntley. I think Pitt will go to Pickett. I think Indy will go to Ellinger. Brock Purdy at San Francisco is their best. Bridgewater at Miami. Zappi at New England. So the question is the coach smart enough to play the best players, or does he want to lose with these guys? So that's really it. So that's college football. Interesting things going on around the world, which I will be brief with. China has no water. They have had these record heat for 60 days. They have no water coming out of their lakes, dried up. They use the water for electricity. They do not have electricity. Companies who rely on them for the goods that they get aren't getting any. The factories are closed. There's no power. At night, it's dark there. You cannot, they showed an office where they had ice and fans as the air conditioner. All they have is their laptops. I don't even know if they're charging their phones. It's a very dangerous situation. They are heavily in debt. They're in big trouble. Countries in bad debt and bad trouble are England, is high inflation, Italy, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Germany, China, and Japan. China doesn't have high inflation. China and Russia have the most gold. Now people ask me, well, gold's never got up. And it's like, that's because the U.S. is keeping it down because they don't have any gold. Well, not anymore. Russia's come out with a gold system to price gold at market, not at COMEX, which is price fixed. Look for it to shoot up. China and Russia need a high gold price because they got a lot of gold. China's got 23,000 tons, Russia about 15,000 tons of gold. So look for them they want the price to go up because they're both going bankrupt. And then Russia came out with the currency backed by gold. Their currency's very high now, and very good. And then Japan's going out. India is very close to going out. Derek, I'm always serious. Are you? Well, did you see McSorley at Penn State? And Murray just runs around. Did you see Murray in the playoff game against the Rams, throwing an interception from his own end zone? So Murray choked in the playoff game. McSorley played really good in the Rose Bowl. I would definitely put McSorley out there more, but that's just me. I know talent. I'm not sold on Murray. He runs too much. And as I've explained with you on Lamar Jackson, you have Joe Montana throwing to Jerry Rice and handing the ball to Roger Craig. You don't want Joe Montana running around, not throwing the ball to Rice and not handing to Roger Craig. Anyway, let me finish my thought on the gold. So they want gold to go up because they got all the gold. The U.S. has no gold. The U.S. has been manipulating, price fixing the price down. Now gold, China and Russia need the gold to go up. Look for it to go up. Now, a point on inflation, all I see are these stupid headlines. Well, does inflation cause a recession? Well, let's think about my economics classes, right? You have prices going up, makes things cost more, you buy less. If this, and I love using this, so let's say you like Canadian Club whiskey and it's $20 and you buy 5 of them. Now it goes to $100. You're going to buy as many. No. Oh, that's your recession. Your recession is a slowdown. If prices go up, you're going to buy less, period. And you're not going to make more. And there's no such thing as price inflation, wage inflation. Only inflation is printing the money. And that's what's happening now. So inflation is automatically a recession because as things get more costly, you buy less of them. And that's your recession. Wow. What's the wow, Derek? McSorley or gold? Anyway, so yes, there's a recession. It's already here. You notice the prices in the grocery store. Gas has come down because they're kind of, the U.S. is giving all this oil to China for some reason. There won't be a war with China unless they want the war with, unless it's played out. Because China runs the U.S. So unless China and the U.S. want the war so gold will go up and nobody will get hurt, there's not going to be a war. China's broke. They don't have any oil. How the hell are you going to war? This Russian-Ukraine war is all planned. It's all money heist. It's all planned out. They're just shooting away. And my girlfriend lives in the Ukraine, and she's saying that the Russians shoot missiles in, and the Ukraine has these defense systems like Israel, and they'll shoot missiles up to destroy the missiles. So the Russian missiles aren't even getting through. They're being destroyed by the Ukraine defense system. She says it makes her piss her pants, but she'll see a missile coming, then it gets exploded. And, so it's all like a nice little show. Putin, what's he doing? There's no value in what he's doing. If he wants the oil in the Ukraine, just take the fucking oil or do it a different way. See, what's happening is Soros, if you watch The Miserables, and I've talked about this, what did they try to do? They tried to have a barricade and they tried to fight the government. You can't. So what Soros and the Nazis are doing now, it's just, if you notice, everything's going the same way because they're putting the leaders in the government. They're electing them, fixing the ballots. So like, how did Trump win? Well, because it wasn't a real election. It was fake votes because they controlled the voting machines. Well, that's what they're doing in every country. So basically all these leaders are run by Soros. And he says, inflate, inflate, inflate. And they're all going broke. Why would every country do this? It makes no sense. They can't be this stupid. History shows you, if we go to the Roman Empire, you inflate, you go out. Well, why would all these countries inflate and they're all going fucking out? Are you kidding me? So it smells, like this Connecticut bat, right? McSorley. Did you watch him at Penn State? Go turn on the Penn State USC Rose Bowl game, and he looked pretty fucking good there. He looked good in the Baltimore game. He came in a playoff game when your buddy Lamar got hurt. He threw a 70-yard touchdown pass, I think, against Pittsburgh. He looked pretty fucking good, and then he got hurt. But he's a real good quarterback. Now, he's not in the class of Rising at Utah, or Van Dyke at Miami, or McCall at Coastal. So I'll agree with you there. But if Arizona's smart enough to get one of those three, I'd get rid of Murray all day. And Murray's not my guy. He runs too much, as we've talked. You don't win with that. Look at the playoffs. How the hell is he throwing interception from his own 1-yard line? What is he thinking? Are you insane? That's my problem with this guy, right? You can't do that in a playoff game. They're being pressured. take the sack. It's 2 points and you'll punt the ball. You can't throw an interception. I think you threw 2 of them. He killed me. He gave the Rams the ball at the 1. He threw a pick 6 from his own end zone. That was the end of that game. So what's so good about Murray? Again, at Oklahoma, he's good. They're not playing when they start playing Texas and Baylor and Iowa State in the pros. Then I'll be with you on Murray. Until then, McSorley is the better quarterback because he throws the ball very good. Again, watch the Arizona coaching decisions. Murray threw the interception. You can't go to the coaches there, right? He threw the interception in the end zone. Do you see Russell Wilson doing that? Do you see Mahomes doing that? No, you don't. You never saw Montana do that. So anyway, so that's what's happening in the world. You have all this chaos, and it's all coming back to the U.S. because we don't make anything. So now we're not going to be able to get goods from China. There's going to be problems with the food. Stock up your freezers. It's just terrible. Then they're just making California said, well, we're just going to make electric cars. No more gas cars. This goes to my economics. In economics, what did I tell you? You do what people want. I want a blue shirt. That's what you make. If I don't want a blue shirt and you make blue shirts, nobody's going to buy them because there's no demand for it. That's what electric cars are. Nobody wants electric cars because, let's say I'm driving to Vegas. I got to go find how long is my charge going to be and how expensive is it going to be? What if my battery goes out? Or if I'm driving my Toyota Camry, I'll find a gas station every half hour. Not a problem. Not worried about my battery going out. I can easily fix it for $50, not $5,000. And I don't have to find a charging station. And it's very expensive, an electric car. So there's no demand for electric car like there is for a gas car. So you can only make things there's demand for, and there's no demand. They're pushing this electric thing, which has got to be pissing off the oil companies. And I don't understand why this whole climate thing is such bullshit. We're a freaking planet. There's no climate. Whatever we do. There's a lot of people, so you need more food. Now all this, what is going on? All these fires and all this heat. What's going on there? It's almost like it's being controlled. It's obvious you don't like running quarterbacks. It's not that I don't like them. I liked anyway with the economy. I'll be right back with you, Derek. So with the economy, just watch what's going on. It's going to come back here. That's another reason I say buy gold and silver, mostly because it's cheap to where it's going. And keep in mind, since China and Russia and India want gold to go up, it's going to go up. So that's what will happen. Derek, I like J.C. Watts at Oklahoma. Okay. I liked Cornelius Green at Ohio State. It works in a running offense in a college. It won't work in the pros. That's my point here. You've got to grasp that. I got Jerry Rice. What good is a running quarterback going to do? I mean, J.C. Watts, what's he going to do with Jerry Rice on the team? Nothing. He can't. They run the ball 95% of the time. So what are they going to do at Baltimore? They want him to run. Or look at Oklahoma. What was their whole thing was the receivers run deep and the quarterback runs underneath. What kind of offense is that? It doesn't work in the play. And they brought in this guy now, but that doesn't win. You need to balance. Balance is critical in pro quarterback and in most Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. They need balance because the defense will just put 9 in the box, put their fast guys out. You're not going to do anything. That's Michigan's problem in the 70s against Ohio State or in the Rose Bowl. They didn't have a passing attack, so they tried to run Rick Leach and Dennis Franklin, and they would run. And guess what? They lost all the big games because they put 9 in the box and they had more speed. Michigan couldn't do shit until they went to Anthony Carter and started passing and brought in quarterbacks who could throw the ball. Then they started to win. You've got to be two-dimensional. I don't mind a running quarterback, aka Mahomes and Russell Wilson, if it's run properly, but they're passers first. They're looking to scramble and throw deep. They're not looking to, oh, I can gain 5-10 yards, right? Mahomes does run, but that's secondary, and Russell Wilson. I don't mind when Russell Wilson at the end of the game runs for a first down, runs the clock out. That's beautiful. They're running quarterbacks to a point, but they are great throwing quarterbacks, and that's what you need to win. Look at Stafford won. Joe Burrow. Why did Cincinnati make the fucking playoffs and go to the Super Bowl? Joe Burrow doesn't run very much. He throws the ball to Chase. They can't cover Chase. That's my point. You need balance. You need a quarterback who throws the ball to a Jerry Rice, to a Lynn Swan, to Cliff Branch. I had to get that in because I forgot it yesterday. And all these guys, Jerry Rice, John Turner, you've got to have quarterbacks that get the ball to him. Look at Marino. He couldn't run to save his life. Now, he didn't win a Super Bowl, but they were in the playoffs a lot, and he was a very good quarterback. Elway barely ran. He went to the Super Bowl 22 times. He couldn't win it because they didn't have a running attack until they got Tyrell Davis, who was a big runner. It gave him balance. You need balance. He's choose between baseball and football. He chose football. Murray is good. You will see. Again, you're giving me this. Give him 5 years and he'll be good. And I give you Joe Burrow, who's good right away. And I give you Montana, who's good right away. And I give you Jim McMahon, who's good right away. These guys won Super Bowls right away. Either they're good or they're not. He'll be good. And maybe he should have chose baseball. If he was a good center fielder, and he's got speed, he would have been probably a good leadoff hitter. Why he chose football, I don't know, but he's not that good. He's a better baseball player, I would assume. Until he learns how to throw the ball and not make stupid decisions by throwing interceptions in his own end zone, then, is he good? I don't know. He's not bad. The game he beat Buffalo in was a miracle throw. He got it. They got a touchdown the last play. Very good. I got no problem with that. He's just inconsistent. So, again, give me Mahomes. Give me Russell Wilson. I got no problem with it. Obviously, Rodgers and Brady. So, if I go through the pros, all right, you got Stafford. I'm not crazy about Josh Allen. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't mind. He's gotten better. Brock Purdy he'll be good for the Bears. Fields terrible. Matt Ryan, I'm not really sold on him. I think Erlinger will do better. Nobody on Houston. Pitt, I think Pickett will be okay. Again, a throwing quarterback. Burrow, of course. I think Huntley's better on Baltimore than Jackson. I think they'll win more games with Huntley. He's a better thrower, and he kind of runs too. Zach Wilson got hurt, the BYU quarterback for the Jets. Hurts, I don't like, but they don't have a quarterback. The Philadelphia. Detroit's got Goff, who sucks. Goff's a choker. He won't win a big game, as shown in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Cleveland, Desean Watson, I like. He can run, but he's not a runner. He's more of a pocket passer who can escape. Mayfield, he doesn't run. He's good. Trevor Lawrence sucks. They don't really have one. Washington, Wentz sucks. He's a runner who sucks, basically. Oakland, I like Derek Carr. And Justin Herbert with San Diego, who runs a little, but not much. Rodgers, of course. Aaron Rodgers. I'm curious about Kellen Mond from A&M on Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is terrible. The Giants, no quarterback. Jones sucks. Tannehill sucks. Woodside, I'd like to see from Tulane. KC, Mahomes, of course. Arizona, prefer McSorley. Unless Murray gets his head together and does throw interceptions in playoff games. Tampa Bay, Brady, and Trask is going to be great. Dallas, I like Greer over Prescott. He's a very good quarterback. Denver, Russell Wilson. And then Seattle, I don't know. Drew Lock, Geno Smith, they both are pretty weak. Joe Burrow had one good season. Let's see this season. Cincinnati lost to the Jets team with the backup quarterback. Joe Burrow's had more than one good season. Did you watch him in college? Beating Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson. He's had more than one good season. He got hurt in the first season, okay, and I will be betting on him this year. But he had the good season that you're waiting for Lamar Jackson and you're waiting for Murray. You like running quarterbacks. That's your choice. I don't. I'm not going to bet on them because they're not going to win any money. This is about money, Derek. This is about making money betting on sports. This is not anything else. They don't make me money. Kyler Murray cost me money on the playoff game against the Rams because he threw 2 fucking interceptions in the end zone. Okay? I am not going to bet on that game. Joe Burrow made me money against Tennessee, made me money against Kansas City, made me money in the Super Bowl. Who am I going to take? Why did they make me money? Because Burrow can throw the ball to Jamar Chase and win games, and these other guys can't. That's why. Did Murray, okay, threw the interceptions. Where was his touchdowns? I don't even think they scored against the Rams. What did Burrow do against the Rams? He freaking had the game won until 2 minutes left in the game. That's what I'm looking at, Derek. That's all I'm looking at. I know those are the best quarterbacks to bet on. The Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the Drew Brees, Peyton Manning sometimes, unless it's a big game and he's going to choke. Joe Montana, I won a house with Joe Montana. Jim McMahon was the 84 Bears. I won so much money. Even Bernie Kosar at the University of Miami. I had him against Nebraska. I made a fortune on him. Miami was incredible. Testaverde, I didn't like. He threw too many interceptions, and he should have beat Penn State in that game. That still pisses me off. But look at what wins. Look at Jimmy Johnson. Man, he had Troy Aikman. He didn't run the ball. He gave it to Emmett. He threw it to Irvin. And they won 3 fucking Super Bowls. That's what you got to look at. What wins? It's those type of quarterbacks. Steve Young didn't win anything until he stopped running. He was at Tampa running the ball. They lost every game. Goes to Frisco. Montana gets hurt. They don't win shit because he wants to run the ball. Finally, he figures out he needs to throw. Bill Walsh sits him down. They teach him how to pass and all on. They lose to the Cowboys because nobody was beating them. Then he finally wins that one Super Bowl against San Diego. But who won all the Super Bowls? Montana won them all. Throwing the ball to Rice, handing the ball to Craig and Rathman and all those guys. Do you want to bet on Joe Montana and Tom Brady, or do you want to bet on Lamar Jackson? It's very simple, Derek. You look at what wins. Think about why it wins because you have balance. Think about what the defense does. If I got Lamar Jackson, I got more safeties in the game. I got all my fast people, and I'm spying him, and I'm saying, you go ahead and throw to beat me, and you can't do it. And that's what happened. That's why he was so good the first year. Then they adjusted to him. They didn't even make the playoffs last year. He got injured. The year before, they go out in the first round. He lost to San Diego in the playoffs. His style is not winning football against good teams. That's my point. It's been proven, and that's what I need you to open your eyes up. It's nothing but, are you going to make me money? Are we going to make money off of it? We don't make money off of a running quarterback. We make money off of Joe Montana, off of Tom Brady, off of Aaron Rodgers, off of Mahomes, off of Russell Wilson. That's where we make our money. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to bet Cincinnati over Pitt with Joe Burrow all fucking day. I'm not sure I'm going to bet Baltimore over the Jets with the backup quarterback because I don't know I can trust Lamar Jackson. That's the difference. So it's all a trust issue. It's all about making money. All right, Derek. So that's about it. So college, we've kind of looked at. I'm going to go through, update my little rankings, but really not a lot the first week. Again, the Florida State game, they played some high school team. You got to throw the stats out because it's going to skew you that the stats are higher for the guy, right? So they beat, American Union 62-0, and then they lose to LSU. It's not, you can't average it. You take the LSU score and you throw out the American U game for Florida State. Then you get a real thing. Now, if they can beat Florida State, can beat LSU 42-10. Okay, now we're looking at the national champion, but that's not going to happen. If it does, that's another thing. So that's what you look at. You question Utah State. Maybe they're looking ahead to Alabama. Nevada, we say they stink because they barely beat New Mexico State. Nebraska, we know, isn't very good. Northwestern's going to be very good this year. Illinois, we'll see. They look good. Charlotte didn't show up. Florida Atlantic, but it wasn't a high-scoring game as we thought. North Texas, maybe they're good. UTEP, probably not. Hawaii, we don't know. Vandy, a Z team beating a Hawaii team with the coach's first game and a new quarterback. Doesn't surprise me that much, but it's a little bit. They scored 63, but how many were pick sixes and punt returns and, defensive scores? So we'll find out more this week. Again, it's the key win. The question is, who do you beat? That makes it. So Illinois beating Wyoming's good, but if they go to Indiana and win, it'll be good. But again, you let me know when they beat Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State or one of the better teams or Wisconsin, then I'll okay. But until they do that and they beat Wyoming and now they play Indy, even if they beat Indy, I still don't know what I got with Illinois. I just know I don't have anything with Indiana or Wyoming. So that's it. Again, the free pick, Ohio State is moved to 17. Still take them. I don't think I'd lay more than 14. So if it goes to 20.5, I don't think you can take Ohio State anymore. I tried to give you the free pick early to keep it under 10. 9.5's a lot better than 14.5. They should route them, but it's still Notre Dame. They still got talent. Could keep the game somewhat close. And then USC Rice. USC should just put up a 70 on them. I'd be surprised. Let's say 60. I'd be surprised if USC doesn't score 60 unless they pull the starters, in the third quarter up 48-0. Then maybe they won't get to 60, but they should. I can see them trying to put in the second string quarterback to get him used to Oklahoma's style. But right now, we're laying 28. That'd be done by halftime. Projections say Notre Dame not that bad. Whose projections? Who are you listening to? So, do you know who you're listening to? Have you listened to this person or show when they've been right on? Notre Dame, the reason we're betting against Notre Dame is because they have a new coach, never coached before, and a new quarterback who's never played before. Going into Ohio. You tell me how you think Notre Dame's an attractive bet this week. It's not, Derek. You've got to be logical when you make the bet. You're betting against a new coach who nobody knows. When Brian Kelly went there, we knew Brian Kelly, but with the new coach, we don't know who the new coach. Maybe he's good, maybe he's not. And then you got a quarterback that's never played, that wasn't good enough to play last year. They went to the Wisconsin guy who sucked. So, again, you don't have a coach. You don't have a quarterback. Why are you interested in Notre Dame in this game? Ohio State's pissed off. So don't bring projections, say Notre Dame not that bad. Again, that's just sales. It's look at Notre Dame. They're good. Or who knows, or they want you to bet the Ohio State game. Don't bring projections in. I need your analysis on why you think something's good or bad. Don't bring in other people who we don't know who are saying, oh, Notre Dame's good. Yeah, I don't have time for that or room for that here. That's not what I'm all about. Rankings. What do you mean rankings? What's rankings? Do you think the national rankings are any good? No. All right, let's do baseball one more time. The Miami game under is already started. 3 locks, Toronto, the Mets, and Houston. And then we like the Yankees strong at night. Again, we got Verlander, Scherzer, and Toronto has a good pitcher who I can't remember the name of. So 3 locks in baseball: Toronto, the Mets, Houston, Yankees over. Or no, the Yankees, not over. I'm sorry. Just take the Yankees. Good pitcher, but I don't know him that well. But he's like 6-2 with a 2 ERA against the 5 for whoever they're playing. So 3 locks: Toronto, the Mets, Houston, and take the Yankees. The Miami unders already started. All right, so that's what we got, and good luck today if you're betting baseball. That's our wrap up for yesterday. I gave you what I gave you is just what I'm looking at for next week. I obviously am not betting all these games. I just bet a few, and I do have 1 lock, and I do have 3 teasers. So there's 8 teams I bet next week. If you want, www.teaserking.com. Go to purchase picks. You can find my email. Let's say you want something, I can give you a little discount. Email me and we can work on it. Again, if you're a returning customer, then I'll definitely give you a discount. If you're not, we'll have to talk about it. All right, everybody. So have a great Sunday. www.teaserking.com. We'll get you to the site. We'll get you to everything else. Yesterday, again, we lost Utah State laying 21. We won Charlotte over 51. So anyway, that's what happened in a money line. All right, everybody. Have a great day. www.teaserking.com.